Top 5 Best Fisheye Lens for Nikon. Number 5. 7 Artisans 10mm f2.82 Full Frame. The 7 Artisans 10mm f2.82 isn't just a lens, it's a wild invitation to bend reality. With a staggering 185-degree field of view, it pulls the entire world into the frame and still keeps it sharp from edge to edge. This second-generation upgrade feels like a precision-built toy for grown-ups who love distortion done right. The 8 Group, 11-element optical design works overtime to keep color fringing and blur at bay, while the large f2.8 aperture turns night skies and dim streets into scenes that shimmer with detail. Weighing only around 600 grams, it's solid but not burdensome. The kind worthy in hand, all metal and no gimmick. The fisheye look can swing between cosmic and comic, capturing entire city blocks or giving portraits that surreal big head charm. And when room, it plays surprisingly well as a rectilinear wide, holding its own even next to lenses that cost 4 times more. Sure, the aperture ring is a bit too easy, and yes, it's fully manual, but that's part of its character, a lens that rewards attention and creativity. At this price, it feels almost like cheating. Coming in number 4. 7 Artisan 7.5mm f2.8 Mark II APS-C. The 7 Artisan 7.5mm f2.8 Mark II is a little optical troublemaker, in the best possible way. With a 190-degree view, it turns ordinary scenes into sweeping, otherworldly panoramas that feel more like dreams than photos. The lens including new Hoya glass and 2 ED elements, giving it far better color control and edge sharpness than the first version. The f2.8 aperture keeps things bright, pulling in light like a sponge and making night shots and star trails come alive without needing long exposures. On an APS-C camera, it converts to roughly 11mm, ultra-wide enough to swallow entire landscapes or twist a quiet street into an artistic curve. Manual focus feels easy thanks to deep depth of field and focus peaking, and once you get the hang of it, shooting becomes instinctive. Build quality is reassuringly solid, though the lens cap likes to escape and there's no filter thread. Still, that's a small trade-off for something that can reshape your visual world. It's not for everyone, but for those who crave bold perspectives, it's pure creative joy. A lens that reminds you photography isn't just about accuracy. Coming in number 3. Nikon AF DX NIKKOR 10.5mm. The Nikon AF DX NIKKOR 10.5mm is a tiny globe maker, a lens that doesn't just capture scenes but bends them into art. Built for DX format cameras, it delivers a full 180-degree diagonal view that transforms tight rooms, sweeping landscapes, or even a plate of sushi into immersive, almost surreal worlds. With a close focus distance of just 5.5 inches, it practically begs to get near its subject, pulling in vivid detail with the exaggerated intimacy only a fisheye can give. The f2.8 aperture makes it a quiet champion in low light, holding sharpness and contrast long after most lenses give up. Nikon's silent wave motor keeps autofocus quick and smooth, while the close-range correction system ensures crisp detail whether you're shooting a vast sky or a steaming bowl of ramen. Build quality feels reassuringly solid, metal and glass that mean business. Sure, there's no hyperfocal scale, and it's not the most flexible for everyday work. But that's missing the point. This isn't a lens for routine shots, it's a creative trigger, a tool for bending lines, for turning ceilings into domes and streets into spirals. Once mounted, the world doesn't just widen, it reshapes. Coming in number 2, Rokinon FE8N 8mm f3.5. The Rokinon FE8mm f3.5 is a throwback to pure hands-on photography, a lens that forces you to slow down, think, and then rewards shots that feel alive. There's no electronic handshake with your camera. It's fully manual, unapologetically old school. But once done, it captures the world in a glorious 180-degree sweep, sharp, vibrant, and rich with that signature fisheye punch. The depth of field is immense, so focus is almost an afterthought. Set it around 0.7 meters or infinity, and nearly everything stays crisp. The 3D pop it gives to close-ups is wild. Kids, pets, architecture, everything seems to leap forward in exaggerated perspective. At f5.6 or f8, the sharpness sings, and even handheld shots at slower shutter speeds stay clean thanks to the ultra-wide view. Yes, you'll need to master manual exposure and maybe clean up distortion or color in Lightroom. But that's part of the magic. The lens builds discipline while feeding creativity. Sturdy metal body, great color, and a field of view wide enough to make you dizzy. This is the kind of gear that reminds you why photography is fun again. Coming in number 1. Rokinon 8mm f3.5 HD Fisheye Lens. The Rokinon 8mm f3.5 HD fisheye lens is one of those rare tools that turns technical limitations into creative freedom. Built for APS-C cameras, it captures a 180-degree diagonal field of view, a full, sweeping, immersive world where straight lines bend and tiny spaces feel cathedral-sized. It's manual focus, but the depth of field is so deep you can practically set it and forget it. Stop down to f5.6 to f11, it's razor-sharp across the frame, with crisp color and surprisingly low distortion for a fisheye. The hybrid aspherical elements and multi-layer coating keep flare in check. The frame, with crisp color and surprisingly low distortion for a fisheye. The hybrid aspherical elements and multi-layer coating keep flare in check, while the removable petal hood gives flexibility for both APS-C and full-frame shooters. With the chipped version, metering and aperture data sync easily with Nikon bodies, making exposure far smoother than old-school manual lenses. Used right, it can capture tight interiors, landscapes, or creative portraits with equal flair. Everything from ship engine rooms to city skylines feels grand and detailed. It's not a lens for perfectionists, it's a lens for explorers. The curved lines, the exaggerated depth, the playful distortion, that's the point. Affordable, solidly built, and full of character, the Rokinon 8mm HD proves that sometimes the most imperfect glass gives the most unforgettable images. Affordable, solidly built, and full of character, the Rokinon 8mm HD proves that sometimes the most imperfect glass gives the most unforgettable images.